Check, check. Mic check. Camera's up and running. I was a little worried about that. How is everybody tonight? Wednesday night, and we're live again from downtown Champaign, Illinois. My name is Nate. I'm a high school football coach here in Illinois. This is year number 20. Tonight was the first day of practice of year number 20 coaching high school football. I tip my cap to myself. I'm very proud of that. 20 years. 20 years. That's a long time. I didn't really start dedicating myself to it until about year 7, maybe 6, 5 or 6. I still loved it, don't get me wrong, but I didn't really start studying till maybe year 6 or 7. So that's a long time to be doing anything, but tonight was the start of year number 20. Welcome to the live stream. If you're just getting here, please check in. Let us know where you're watching from. Love to hear from you guys. I'm an Illinois guy, have been lifelong. I don't know that I will never leave. I just haven't. I'm the last member of my own family still here. The rest of all my sisters jetted south. My parents just moved south. I'm the last one left in Illinois. There's a lot of about it, you know. I was bummed to say the least, that we weren't playing football. I'm not a huge fan of our Illinois politics, but there's a lot I do like about Illinois. I like being up north-ish with the weather changes. I like that. Even though winter is hard to get through, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's hard to get through. But when you do get through it and you start grilling out, dude, that's a good feeling. It is a great feeling to get out of winter, right? Climbing out of winter and that first breath of fresh air. Oh my goodness, nothing can beat that. What's up, guys? Jay Miller in the house. Miller, let me know where you're from. He says, congrats on 20 years. Thank you. Year number 20, the start today. Coach Quiroga in the house. Coach Quiroga, how was day number 1 of practice, man? Right? Was it good? Was it good? I think it was a little weird feeling, of course, because it's spring, but it was also a little interesting for us because we felt like our kids were further ahead on a day 1 now than they have been in a while, than they normally are, right? And so that's coming from my head coach. And I've said this before, one of the things that I think my current head coach does very well is the amount of consistency from year to year, right? I'm a very fickle guy, so I want to change lots. Not that I'd change everything, but I want to change things. And he just it's consistency, right? So that's something I've learned here. Coach Miller from Southern West Virginia. Well, welcome. Glad to have you in the house. Coach Albaugh in the house. That's my dad. He's saying hello from Georgia. And Larry's also kind of our honorary trivia champ, even though he can't win because he's family. Had to cancel our season due to low numbers. What? Coach Quiroga? What? I did not know that. Oh, I'm broken for you guys. I know how hard you've worked. I know how excited you are about the game. I'm crushed. Let me know what your numbers were looking like and who had that final call to close things down. What a bummer. Todd McDonald in the house checking in from Fort Myers. I know Coach McDonald is a monster Illini fan. What do you think of that win last night, Todd McDonald? Huh? How about them Illini? Remember when I said I'm not so sure Io is as good as we say? Maybe I'm not so wrong. I'm wondering. Let's get our guest in here before I just ramble in, because I'll go forever. Paul Pitts is our guest tonight. I'm a huge Paul Pitts fan. Let me switch over to the next screen. Paul Pitts in the house. Let's get him in. Hide self-view. All right. Paul's on his way in. Hopefully he's going to turn on his camera in a second. Sorry, Coach. I had you waiting for too long, huh?
Hey, I was, let's see here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, but we can't see you yet.
Let's figure out.
Oh, now I see your name. We're making progress. David Thomason in the house out of Oregon. Thomason got his name on the wheel last night. You'll see that on the top. We go 5 trivia questions tonight here in the next half hour. If you are in the top or tie for first, you get your name on the wheel. Tomorrow night, we will spin the wheel and the winner gets $50 cash. Well, okay, cash. $50 through Venmo, which is as good as cash, right? That's as good as cash. Looks like we lost Coach Pitts. We'll get him to log back in here in a second, and when he comes back in, we'll bring him in. I think you guys are going to like Coach Pitts a lot. Coach Albaugh says, can you get him up for fall? Can you get who up for fall? Albaugh, what do you mean? Todd, you saying, oh, here we go about the IO thing? Hey, but I might not be wrong, right? Come on. Do you think I'm less wrong now that they whooped Michigan without IO than I was? Hey, our sponsor tonight, while we're waiting for Coach Pitts again, let me tell you about our sponsor. Our sponsor is Coach Klee. And Coach Klee is a fellow coach. In fact, he's I feel like a friend of the program here at Chief Pigskin. Right. What's up, Coach Pitts? We got you now.
There we go, Coach. My bad. Sorry about that.
You're good. You're good. I'm just telling everybody about our sponsor. I want to finish this off. Coach Klee, I want to ask you guys right below, in the link below, is a link to go subscribe to Coach Klee's channel, okay? On his YouTube channel. Let me pull this up. His YouTube channel right here, Coaching Football with Brian Klee. He's a fellow coach. He does good content. He sponsored our thing this week for $50. He's given $50 to our trivia winner this week. And all he's asking is if you would go subscribe to him on YouTube. So I want to ask you guys to do that. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Let's see, Coach Quiroga, we just found out, Paul, that one of our fellow Illinois coaches, because today was the first day of practice in Illinois.
Yeah, awesome.
And we just found out that one of our friends of Chief Pigskin here, Coach Quiroga, who's the head football coach up in Back of the Yards High School in Chicago, they just had to cancel their season for low numbers. Their Chicago public schools. So that's crushing. And listen, Coach Quiroga is like one of the hardest working coaches. You know, he's one of those junkies that has been studying all through COVID. So it's a crushing blow, man.
Man, I hate to hear that for him.
Right. Coach Quiroga, he does say that you got some great stuff on Chief Pigskin. See, Coach Quiroga is a big-time option guy.
There you go. I've actually seen him on Twitter and seen some stuff. He does some great stuff.
And now you got a lot of option blood in you, don't you?
I got a little bit of option blood in me, I guess.
Tell us about your option history.
Yeah, well,
like when and where you've coached and been a part of option programs.
Yeah, you know, I've been fortunate, Coach. I started out at a small program in Georgia. We were NAI when we started the program back in 2005. And had a guy, Coach Jones, Phil Jones, legend, and man, such a great man. Actually passed away a couple months ago, but he started the program in 2005 at Shorter, and he was an option guy. And so that's where I started learning it from, was Coach Jones. And I was there for about 9 years. We actually transitioned from NAI in the Mid-South Conference to Division II, playing in the Gulf South. And so I was there for 9 years before I went up to University of Cumberland in Williamsburg, Kentucky as offense coordinator for 4 years, and then went to Cumberland University in Lebanon. Confusing. It confused my grandmother with the names there.
Yeah.
And now I'm at Trousdale County High School in Hartsville, Tennessee.
Now, I can never understand what you're saying as the name of your high school. It's what county?
Trousdale. Trousdale. Trousdale.
So, like, spell the first part before the Dale.
Trous.
Trousdale.
Yeah, there you go.
You have told me like 6 or 7 times, and I have never known what you said. Each time I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Because you kind of say Trousdale.
Yeah, you know, I guess that's just the southern part of it. Yeah.
That's the southern way.
There you go. That's right.
Now, where'd you grow up? Because you got that strong southern accent. You got that true southern accent.
You know, it's funny you say. I was talking to a buddy about this the other day. I grew up in Georgia. I'm from Newnan, Georgia originally.
Oh, that's where my dad lives right now in Noonan.
No way.
He does. He lives in Noonan. Yep.
That's unreal.
Did you go to Coweta or whatever?
East Coweta, no doubt.
East Coweta,
That's right.
okay.
That's right. So yeah, I played there for Danny Cronick, who was a great high school coach down there. And
Okay.
yeah, I played there for him, and my mom still lives there, and love that place. But yeah, so that's where I grew up is in Noonan. But it's funny you talk about my accent because, you know, growing up, everybody, you know, they'd make fun of me and they'd say, "You sound like a Yankee." You know, they told me I would talk so, you know, I guess Northern. And then I started out at Gardner-Webb University up in North Carolina. And I went up there and they're like, "You have got to be the countryest sounding person I've ever heard." So it's all relative, I guess.
It is. And here's the thing, you know, when I went I'm from Central Illinois, right in the middle, right?
Yeah.
But Chicagolanders have their own accent.
Yeah.
So I went to college in Chicagoland, and they all asked me where I was from. I'm like, I'm from Illinois. I'm from right here in Illinois, right? And then by the time, so I spent X years up there, probably 6 or 7 with teaching and coaching. Yeah. By the time I moved back down here, then of course everyone from down here then was telling me like, "What happened to you? Why are you talking like that?" And then that's something. The differences are so subtle.
Funny.
But everyone will recognize it right away.
No doubt.
Well, fellas in the chat, thanks so much for joining us. I want to ask you to leave a thumbs up to this video. If you haven't subscribed before, please subscribe. Coach McDonald says, "Haha, not catching a Yankee accent here. No Yankee." Well, fellas, thanks so much for joining us. Hey, listen, Paul Pitts is going to be doing some home clinics for us. So if any of you guys have wanted to speak or would love to be heard or have something to say, man, look up Coach Pitts on Twitter. Coach, what's your Twitter handle?
It is Coach Pitts TC. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, at Coach Pitts
yeah,
TC.
At Coach Pitts TC.
Send him a tweet, a DM, if you guys would like to get on the home clinics, right? So a home clinic is Coach will set up a time with you, or we've got one other guy shooting home clinics, Daniel McDonald, and you just prepare like a little 30-minute presentation on whatever you want. You could choose like something a little bit specific if you want, and Coach will do a little Q&A with you, get to know you, and turn the mic over to you and let you present. It's a great way to get your word out, right? We're putting everything on the online clinic, but all the home clinic stuff is viewable for free. So it's a great way to get started and a great way for people to hear you. Because listen, everybody has, I have just found so many benefits in speaking. It allows you, it forces you to put your thoughts on paper. And I think the amount you learn when you have to go prepare a presentation is pretty incredible.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I remember doing one for you, and just putting that clinic together, then it makes you re-examine why is it that I do this, and I think that's the biggest reason I love these clinics is because there's always going to be somebody that says, "Why'd you do it that way?" And you always, so many times we sit back and say, "Well, I don't know. It's because that's what I was taught, or that's just kind of how I've done it." And man, it's so good to get in there and talk ball and constantly re-examine what it is that you're doing.
How many times have you done this? I'll be going through something and preparing to speak or to do something, and I'm like, "Oh, that's right. Like we made it a point to do blank, or we used to really take blank seriously. That was good, and now we don't anymore. We don't do that as much." And I'm like, man, why did we stop? Have you ever come across those type of moments?
Yeah, no doubt. Like, especially answers to problems. How many times have I done stuff and you had an answer to something, and for some reason you just kind of got away from it? And who knows? I mean, there's no telling why we do. And then you start talking, especially like clinics, or you get to talk to other coaches, and you start bringing that stuff up. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember when we used to do that. And yeah, I mean, just again, re-examine it.
That's like when people say, so-and-so has forgotten more football than I know. And it's true. Like, when you get a guy that's been around it for so long, because again, it's like season after season, and it's one season after another, and they each have their own life to them, right? And you learn new lessons within each one, and then after a span of 10 years, that season 10 seasons ago, I mean, that was like a different lifetime ago.
Yeah.
You know, I pulled up a film of my own from 2012. And I was the offensive coordinator and head coach, and I was watching my film, and I'm like, what? I was doing all this. I was like, I cannot believe that this was me calling this game. Again, that was 2012. That's 8 years.
Yeah.
It was a different lifetime ago, Paul. Now, have you called, when's the last time you called an offense?
Well, I call it, I've been calling it since 2014. It's when I got my first offense coordinator job.
And now you call it there at Trousdale?
Yeah, I call it at Trousdale. Yep.
Now, if I'm not from Tennessee, does it sound funny for me to call it Trousdale? Or I should call it Trousdale because I'm an outsider?
Nah, you say however you want to, Coach. We accept anything down here.
Okay.
But when I did come here, I noticed that there weren't many people saying the Dale part of it. So I learned pretty quick, I'm just going to blend that whole thing in.
Yeah. Let's kind of slur it.
That's right.
Everybody learns that from where you're from. Listen, so what offense do you guys run now?
We're actually been more wing T this past year, but we still love to incorporate triple option principles, midline, inside veer, and then, you know me, belly G. And we're going to run some belly G, and then we run the jet sweep. So.
Yes, we're going to talk some belly G before the end of this night, because that was one of the things that caught my eye in your presentation several years ago. You were doing some good stuff with belly. Coach, why are you leaning wing T? Because I start doing this because that wing T is like, it just speaks to my soul.
Yeah.
Why did you start going? Was that your call, or was it like the head coach wanted to do that, so of course we did? Or what was it, lean towards wing T rather than saying a true option?
Yeah, well, it was our idea. Me and the head coach, Coach Satterfield, have a great relationship and work really well. And so, we just got to talking. And really, here's the reason is that we had a quarterback that could have been a great veer quarterback, and he did some good stuff, but it worried us. We didn't have any time to practice. We came in and we had a week and a half, 2 weeks, I think, before our first game. So
because of COVID?
Because of COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were just constantly worried about what protocols if we were going to get shut down, which we were fortunate we didn't have any interruptions this year, but it just came down to a practice time. And we said, okay, we can either find ways that are easier to get our best athlete to quarterback the ball, that doesn't take quite as much of the timing and repetitions of the veer, or we can spend a lot of time on the veer. And we just said, hey, let's manufacture some plays and get him the ball in space. Just because we just didn't feel like we had the time to be able to run the veer efficiently. Yeah.
Okay, so number one formation, like what formation are you in the highest percentage of time?
We're a tight end wing, for red and blue.
Yep.
I think the wing T guys, we're going to be red and blue a good portion of the time.
Buck sweep or power?
Power.
Or both?
Yeah.
Power. No buck sweep.
We tried to run buck sweep. We just weren't very good at it. Couldn't get timing down. Had some injuries in the backfield early on, so we had a lot of people rotating in, and so we just never really got the timing down for buck sweep. Man, it's a great play. I ran it as a player in high school and loved it, but we just didn't get it rolling. And power was a great play for us. So.
It's expensive. That's what's the only problem with buck sweep is it is expensive.
And that's the problem with veer and buck sweep.
They're both expensive.
Both of them are so expensive. So you kind of have to go with one or the other, I think. Unless you're St. Pius. St. Pius down in Georgia, it's unbelievable. Catholic school down there, high school. They run buck sweep and the veer. It's unbelievable. Paul Standard down there, great coach.
Whoa. Yeah. Wow, I'd love to see what else they're running. I don't know how you find time to do that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, Coach, when you are, hold up. Yep. So we're going to play a little trivia game tonight, have some fun with that. And our guys in the chat, you guys get to answer. If you win the trivia game tonight or even tied for the lead, we're going to put your name on the wheel for tomorrow night. We're going to spin the wheel tomorrow night, and the winner is getting $50. $50. Compliments of Coach Clee Football. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. That link is below. And we are going to have, it's going to be fun. So again, you can't answer, Coach.
All right.
But we'll talk about the answers while we do.
Gotcha.
After that, we're going to talk a couple quick Q&A questions. I'm going to dive into the belly with Coach Pitts because, again, he caught my attention with his belly stuff before when he spoke. Thomason says, first time I've heard someone switch to the wing tee because they didn't have time to install another offense. Thomason out of Oregon, he's a big wing tee guy. He says buck sweep is worth the cost. So I ended up going buck sweep. I used to run both buck sweep and power, and then I went away from power. But it's hard to choose. I know a lot of coaches. I'm a good guy, John Aliosi. We spent a lot of time over quarantine here. He's out of Massachusetts. He's won a state title there, wing tee guy. He has a hard time giving up power, right? And I get it. It's hard to give up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can only be good at so much. Coach, let's play a little trivia with the guys. Guys in the chat, all you do is you type in your answer into the chat, and the first correct answer to come up, gets the point. We go 5 questions. We see who's ahead after 5 questions, and then we're going to talk a little belly G. Then we're going to call it a night. This goes fast. Here we go. Let's pull up the trivia. March trivia, Coach's Madness. What is 100 degrees Celsius converted to Fahrenheit? What is 100 degrees Celsius converted to Fahrenheit? If you know that answer, type it into the chat. Be the first to type it in. We operate on like a 15-second delay, Coach, so it's going to be a second. I know someone's going to know this right away, but we will see. Do you know it right away without saying the answer, Paul? Did you know it?
No.
You don't know it. When you find out, when you hear the answer, you're going to be like,
it's going to be so obvious.
Oh, yeah. You're like, oh, yeah. I knew that. Let's see who is the first to type it into the chat. Waiting for the first answer. 100 degrees Celsius converted to Fahrenheit is, I'm going to come back to our guests, open the scoreboard because I know someone's about to type it in. Still waiting, Coach. I'm a little worried about our guys now.
Thought, huh?
It's either harder than I thought or no one's actually watching and everybody went to get a drink. It could be that. You never know.
No, I think they're all on Google trying to figure out conversion rates right now.
100 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. Thomason, not quite. You got some numbers in there that are correct, but not quite. Coach, how much belly do you guys run? Wait. When you say belly, are you talking G scheme?
Yes. Down kick.
Right.
Yeah, we're G scheme.
Because true wing teers call that down.
Yeah. So we're the down. We run the down. Yeah.
You guys run down.
Yeah.
Now you will run belly back to the weak side, will you?
We do, and so that's just our ISO.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll run ISO to the weak side too.
Thomason is the first one. He gets it. It's 212 degrees, Coach.
Once you said that, I started thinking, I wonder if it has to do with boiling water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
212. So Celsius, 0 is freezing.
Yeah.
100 is boiling water. So it's pretty easy like that.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we decided to change it to Fahrenheit, which kind of put 0 to 100 on a scale of livable temperatures. That's kind of was the concept behind Fahrenheit. Like the livable temperatures, 0 and 100, really, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Okay. So yeah, you call your belly. Do you still call belly in your system, or are you guys a number system?
We're a number system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would I call belly in your system?
We would call it like red 83.
83.
Yep.
It's 80 because that's 80 series.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to ask the next question, then you tell me what else is in the 80 series. So, yes, 212 degrees, the boiling point of water. Question number 2, name one country that borders Mexico to the south. a country that borders Mexico to the south. We're on question 2. Thomason, you might be the only man here, so you might be playing alone. I don't know if anybody else is around. It shows that there's several other guys here. And if you're just getting here, check in. Let us know where you're watching from. Also, we're playing a little quick 5-question trivia. There is plenty of time for you to still win the trivia and get your name on the wheel. Without giving the answer away, Coach Pitts, do you know one country that borders Mexico to the south?
Oh, I'm just having flashbacks to your game last night, talking about geography. I could probably, if I had 3 guesses, I could probably come up with some.
Okay, we got an answer. Kyle Pettit got an answer, and the correct answer is Belize is one. That is bordered to the south by Guatemala and Belize. Okay?
There you go.
Guatemala and Belize. Actually, you get a lot of immigrants from Guatemala, right? They always get just called Mexicans, but they're Guatemalans. You know, I had a few in my class a couple years ago, and I was speaking to them in Spanish, and then I found out they don't speak Spanish. They spoke some indigenous language in Guatemala. Wow. I found that out like 2 days later. I'm like, okay, I feel stupid. Yeah. They just kept smiling and nodding. I was assuming we were on the same page.
Yeah. No.
Poor kids.
They're like, just try English, man.
Yeah, exactly. I might as well have. All right, so let's go give Coach Pettit his point. Pettit's got one. Thomason's got one. We're on to question number 3. Then we're going to talk Belly G. Belly G. Got to be specific. Question number 3. Which NFL team has the least number of total wins? Which NFL team has the least number of total wins? You got an idea, Coach Pitts?
I'd probably have some.
It kind of makes sense because, they're newer.
Yeah.
So being newer.
Yeah.
It also helps if you're not very good.
Yeah,
that helps not win a lot of games too. It is not Tampa Bay. No, although Tampa Bay is pretty low.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay is pretty low.
In there.
Quiroga says Jags. No, Jags are second to least at 170. Pettit says, got to be my Bengals. It's not the Bengals. Bengals have 357. You guys are forgetting about somebody. This team has 121 wins. That's 50 wins behind the Jaguars. That's going to take a while.
Yeah.
They're 50 wins behind. Still, nobody's got it. Who is last, fellas? Who is last? Who are you guys forgetting about?
Does it count?
They're the newest team. Who's the newest team? They came into the league in 2002. They just traded their quarterback. Or no, they're trying to, and they traded their big D end. Not Carolina. These guys are all over the place. 120 wins. They just traded J.J. Watt.
It's great. I didn't realize, not even thinking about those guys.
Yeah, maybe they didn't trade, but they signed. Hey, Connor McJunkin got it.
Hey,
it's the Texans. You know him?
I do. He played for me at University of Cumberland.
Oh, man,
he's a G8,
McJunkin.
or he coaches there now. So he's a good one.
McJunkin got it, and you are on the board, McJunkin, with 1. Remember, if you are in the lead or tied for the lead at the end of 5 questions, you're on the board for tomorrow night, or on the wheel for tomorrow night. You can see we got 3 names on the wheel so far: Gonzalez, Thomason, and Medeiros. And the winner tomorrow night when we spin that wheel, $50 right away not right away, like as soon as I get your Venmo info, I will Venmo you $50. Compliments of Coach Klee, Coach Brian Klee. He's our sponsor. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel. That link is below. Let's go to question number 4, Coach. Question 4, there they are. There's the Texans, only 120 wins. Who's the number 1 ranked chess player in the world? I actually knew this one before tonight. A lot of my questions, I'm not going to pretend like I knew them before I wrote them. This one I actually knew. You know this one, Coach?
I don't, but I do know who was the 8th grade LSG Arnold Middle School chess champion.
Is that your middle school?
That's where I went to middle school, and that happens to be this guy here.
Oh,
yeah.
you were a middle school chess
I was a
champion.
middle school chess champion. That's right.
Let's go.
Now,
so do you still play?
I have not played in years. The height of my athletic achievement came in middle school when I was the 2-time double ping pong champion, doubles ping pong, won the singles my 8th grade year, and then won the chess championship in 8th grade. So height of my athletic career.
That's hard to top.
Yeah, no doubt. It went downhill.
That is
after
hard.
That.
Good for you, man. Hey, one of my favorite, in fact, I'm just going to call it my favorite documentary ever made is called Brooklyn Castle. And it's about this middle school in New York that has a chess team. It's unbelievable. Brooklyn Castle, if anybody wants to look it up, it's probably my favorite documentary ever made. And we got a correct answer, Coach. The correct answer is Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen is Norwegian chess grandmaster who is the current world chess champion. I think he's been number one for almost 10 years, and he's only 30.
Wow.
He's not. Yeah, he's
a long way to go.
He's the man. Nobody can beat him. So Miller's on the board. We got a 4-way tie at the top of the leaderboard. Coming to question 5. Let's see if we're going to break this tie or if everyone's going on the board. Remember, you want less names on the wheel to get up your odds of $50 tomorrow night. Question number 5. Let's see who's going to break this tie. Don't let this picture mislead you. Name one of the teams that played in Super Bowl IV. One of the teams that played in Super Bowl IV. Thinking back. Boy, we're going to be right around 1969, 1970, somewhere in there. I think this would be the first year that it became AFC, NFC, Paul, because before that it was NFL versus AFL.
Yeah.
So I think this was the first year of the merger, and it was NFC versus NFC, AFC versus NFC. And we'll see who can name. The first to name, again, don't let that picture mislead you, because that's Tom Brady, and he was not in Super Bowl IV. Coach Quiroga got it. It was the Vikings. That is right, the Vikings. And who did they play? Who knows who they played? That's right, McJunkin, the Chiefs. They played the Chiefs, but Quiroga got it right. I put this little fact over here. That's from last night, so that's not effective. All right, back to my scoreboard. Coach, we got 4 dudes whose names are going on the wheel for tomorrow night and have a chance to win $50.
Hey, that's awesome.
So that is Quiroga 1. All you guys have your name, and now my dad's shouting out the stats. So anytime it comes to 50s and 60s trivia, and Paul, you've met my dad, right?
I did.
50s and 60s sports trivia, He's hard to beat, man. He's hard to beat. What's up, Coach Eddings in the house? Well, Coach, we've got 5 new names. Thomason, Pettit, and Thomason's already on the board, so now he gets his name up there a second time on the wheel for tomorrow night.
There you go.
Thomason, Pettit, McJunkin, Miller, Quiroga. All 5 of your names are going on the wheel tomorrow night, and we will spin that after our trivia tomorrow night. And the winner is getting Venmo'd $50. I hope you spend it wisely. You could tell your wife you won $50, or you could not tell her. That's up to you. We will not tell her. Coach, we've just got a couple minutes left. I got to ask you about Belly G. When I saw you running Belly G, I was impressed, first of all, with that guard's footwork. Tell us how you teach guard pull on Belly G.
Yeah, the big thing is I want them to be square as much as we can. And so we teach them with their play side foot to just take a slight drop step straight back. And here's the big coaching point for me is I want that play side toe pointing straight ahead. You know, I don't want that toe to open up at all, because when I do, that's going to open up my hips, my knees, and they end up flat down the line. And so what I found is taking a straight drop step, toe straight ahead, and then the second step is crossover up in the line. And then from there, third step, we just keep on running, and we're getting on the hip. And the key to it is to remember that first step, it's a timing step. All it is you're trying to take a step back so that your tight end tackle have an opportunity to start down blocking, get you off the line a little bit, but then you're right back up into it as square as you can be.
That was what caught me, because if you run belly or have run belly G a lot, or down, whatever you call it, you'll know that with kids, the common habit is, again, they just keep flaring back, and it just keeps going right throughout the game. It'll keep, they'll start veering like 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. It just keeps going.
Yep.
And I saw you do that in your presentation, and that's what's so huge. Like, if your shoulders stay square, like we get it. The natural tendency is, I want to turn because I'm kicking that guy out. But you've got to stay square. And you're right, it starts with that toe staying square. So, Coach, tell me, and again, I have almost no time left, but I got to know this. Okay, you're running power to that tight end side. You're running belly to that tight end side. I get that the blocking schemes are different, but like, when is one going to work versus the other, right? Hey, this works well when we get this type of defender, whereas we know we want power when we get this type of defender. Are they both hitting right outside that tight end?
Yeah, they should be hitting right off that tight end. And
so what's the difference? Why one over the other?
Well, for me, a lot of it is just who I want to get the ball to. And so that backfield motion, belly is such a great play for me for veer and jet sweep, because you got that veer action, you got that jet sweep going to the tight end. And so I like that, especially with a jet. I mean, to bring the jet and run belly G behind it, man, that's really tough and puts that 9 technique in a bind.
So your jet guy, you have him kicking, or you just have him like influencing and continuing on the jet?
Yep, he just goes on and keeps on running out of there. All I want to do is pull out one defender there, and keep that inside backer flat-footed, a little bit, over the top.
So now you're getting that same thing. You're getting a down kick, which you get in power, but now you're getting the same thing, but with an influence.
Exactly.
A horizontal stretch of some sort. Because when you run power, you're not getting a horizontal stretch.
Exactly.
I like that. Now listen, what about that wing? Is he ever, if you're running power, and this was always my question, do I want my wing blocking down on a 9 technique when I'm running power? Or do I want to skip him and we're going to kick the 9? Or do you do both?
We kick the 9. There were times where, now we had one wing back that he was an outside backer for us, big old swole kid, loves the weight room. So he could down block a 9 technique, especially one that was squeezing to try and take it out. But the vast majority of the time, we're going to influence that 9 technique with him and then load that slot back on the inside backer.
Oh, man. Okay, I got one more question about this, but I want to check in with my guys in the chat. Coach Miller saying that he's sitting down to learn some football. Coach Miller, and you had told us up above, I want to make sure I look, you were from West Virginia. Coach Eddings checked in. Quiroga said, is that the Harding checkmark step?
I'm not.
Is that how Harding runs it?
I'm not familiar with the Harding checkmark step. So.
Okay. Yeah. And Harding obviously is big time option guru football.
And I've studied a bunch of their stuff. I just don't know that technique from them.
Yeah. So. Okay. Heitor Medeiros in the house out of Brazil, one of our Brazilian friends, and Heitor's on the wheel. Medeiros, man, we had 5 more guys join you tonight, 5-way tie, and Dan Hughes, our guest for tomorrow night. Out of South Dakota is in the chat. Welcome, Coach Hughes. He says, kick that 9, influence with the jet. And Hughes is a big-time jet team. Big time. And I think if you have time to make it tomorrow night, Paul, Hughes is doing some really interesting stuff on the edge with his edge blocking, just an edge blocking technique. It's one of those little tips that I think is, if you're that type of a team, is worth considering. Okay, so here's my last question. If I'm kicking a 9, and if anybody happens to be more of a rookie coach, we're talking about that defensive end who's lining up right outside, or honestly, here's what we're usually going to see as a wing T team. The D end will play inside of your tight end, and they'll walk up an outside linebacker to play right outside your tight end, right? We're going to get some of that. But that 9, if I am kicking that 9 on power and I'm kicking him on belly, what the heck is my wing doing there?
My play side wing, he is going to be, we call it a bob block, but it's essentially a load. He is coming right off that 9 techniques butt, and he is going to pin that inside linebacker. We teach them really kind of the same technique as we do on a load block on veer, is teach them to take that inside hand, put it in the 9 techniques pocket, come right off of his butt so you can pin that backer.
Okay. Is there anything where you're actually going to, in theory, like try to wash that 9 down?
Yeah.
If you're catching him squeeze that down block hard, squeezing that down block on the tight end hard,
yep.
Will you ever ask that wing to wash it, and what are you running outside that?
Yeah, we've done it where actually with like a jet sweep scheme kind of, where we've actually washed that guy down, handed it to our wing back on the jet, and then pulled some interior linemen there. And it almost really, when we do it, it's almost like buck sweep is what we end up, because
that's what I was going to say.
A lot of times we'll end up pulling our guard and our tackle out of that look.
The front side guard and tackle.
Exactly. Yep. Based on the look. On what we're getting.
How much rep? Now listen, if buck sweep's expensive, is that expensive?
You know, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad because our guards pull is a little bit more natural for us, and our tackle is a pull and kick out. Wasn't bad, and he turns it up, so I can see why you're skeptical on that whole time argument there, but it was a much easier transition for us to down block the 9 and hand it on the jet sweep.
Yeah. No, I believe it, Coach. I believe it. I always feel like no interview is interesting if I don't push somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
I'm always looking for somewhere to push. Well, fellas, this was a blast. Coach, I'm just going to have you back sometime, okay?
Sounds good, man. I loved it.
Okay, tomorrow night, guys, we're in the house with Dan Hughes. Would love to have you guys stop back in. We'll be playing trivia one more time. You could get your name on the wheel. And if your name's already on the wheel, might as well stop by and see if you won $50. We will Venmo you that $50. And that is compliments of Coach Klee, a fellow high school football coach. He's out of Michigan. And I want to ask you guys to subscribe to him on YouTube. That link is below. So now that the show's over, as we wind down, as soon as it's over, just before you go shut everything down, just click it, click subscribe. I'm telling you, Coach Klee is a fantastic dude. He's super humble, and he's one of those junkies. He just loves it, you know? He knows he's not getting hardly anything out of it. He just loves it. So super grateful for you. Coach Pitts, man, we're going to sign off. Any closing thoughts?
Man, it's just so fun to be a part of what you're doing, Coach. And I think you're doing a great job for the coaching community and producing some great stuff. So glad to be a part of it.
Thanks a ton. Guys, look up Coach Pitts. If you'd like to consider speaking and being on a home clinic, look him up. Shoot him a DM on Twitter. That's at Coach Pitts TC, right?
Yep.
TC for Trousdale County High School. And I was going to say one more thing, and I already forgot it, so I guess it wasn't that important. Look him up, guys, if you'd like to speak. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow night. Coach, good night.
Have a good one.